Things get glitchy as the protagonist stumbles into a digital void and meets a gatekeeper who is definitely not passing the vibe check. This stranger tries to kick them out, claiming the area is dangerous for people with memory issues. It is a classic refusal of entry, but obviously our hero isn't going to listen to some random NPC. The stranger explains the lore. They are in a protocol space built from originium and memories. It turns out both of them are memory hunting, but the stranger is dealing with some serious identity fraud issues. They are carrying memories that don't belong to them, which sounds like a total nightmare for mental stability and personal branding. Exploring the ice field memory, the stranger talks about how dissociated they feel from their own past. They describe the memories as feeling like dreams or someone else's movie. It is a deep dive into the confusion of amnesia, where reality feels slippery and you can't trust your own brain to keep the timeline straight. They find a massive sword that looks like it belongs in a final boss fight. The lore says it grants power but burns the user, which is a major red flag. The stranger recognizes it but feels the details are off. It is a hint that their connection to this weapon is complicated and possibly tragic. Frustration mounts as the stranger realizes a key memory is ghosting them. They have all random clips of battles and identities, but the main plot is missing. They are determined to chase it down, refusing to let the glitchy nature of this world stop them from finding the truth and reclaiming their narrative. A shadow doppelganger appears, acting as the antagonist. It is literally a battle against oneself, with the shadow trying to gatekeep the truth. The Endman steps in to help, proving they are a solid ally. The shadow is toxic, telling them to give up. But our duo is ready to stand on business and fight back. Endman wakes up in the real world, and Perlica is there to debrief. The encounter with the red-haired girl is confirmed to be a dive into a protocol space. Perlica warns that finding specific memories is like finding a needle in a haystack, setting up the difficulty level for the next phase of the quest. Perlica drops some technical exposition about data shards and originium. She thinks the encounter wasn't a coincidence. They get a lead on strange reactions in Valley 4, which is the perfect excuse to go investigate. It seems the digital ghost girl is manifesting in the real world, causing trouble with her fire powers. Endman tracks the girl's trail and finds a cute rabbit creature connected to her past. It triggers a flashback of a city on fire and a child fleeing. It is a heavy moment that grounds the sci-fi plot in emotional trauma, showing that the girl's search for home is rooted in a tragic escape. The girl is having a full-on existential crisis, wondering if her childhood memories are even real. She questions if her identity as a powerful administrator or warrior is just a role she is playing. It is a relatable struggle about authenticity and whether we are defined by our jobs or our true selves. Perlica uncovers a dossier on an ancient operator named Surtr, who matches the girl's description perfectly. It turns out the girl, Laevatain, is a Reconvener connected to this legend. She is basically a clone or successor, trying to download the original's personality, which explains the memory confusion and the intense identity crisis. Hi there. If you want to enjoy more gaming lore without grinding for 60 hours, hit that subscribe button. I do the grinding so you don't have to. Your support really helps the channel. Perlica realizes Laevatain is hurting herself by diving too deep into the data. She asks Endman to log back in and save her. It is a rescue mission now, with Endman using their admin privileges to pull Laevatain out of her self-destructive spiral before she gets totally cooked by the system. Endman re-enters the Matrix and saves Laevatain from a monster attack. She tries to act tough, but she is clearly struggling. They decide to team up properly, with Endman promising to help her find the truth. It is the start of a beautiful friendship built on shared trauma and fighting digital demons. They have a bonding moment where Laevatain accepts Endman as a companion. She calls out Endman for also being an amnesiac looking for answers. It levels the playing field, making them partners rather than savior and victim. They are just two confused souls trying to navigate a corrupted save file together. They find a robot that represents Endman's hidden fears. Laevatain teases Endman for being secretly worried about failing their friends. It is a wholesome interaction that reveals Endman isn't a robot, but a person with anxiety about letting people down. It adds some much-needed depth to the silent protagonist archetype. The vision shows Endman's old friends doubting them. It hits hard, tapping into the fear of being washed up. Laevatain comforts Endman, pointing out that everyone is scared of something. It is a sweet moment of mutual support, showing that even heroes have imposter syndrome and need reassurance from their squad. They confront a memory of the old Endman, giving a cringy speech about saving the world. Laevatain is not impressed, preferring the current version of Endman. It is a massive validation that the new, confused Endman is actually an upgrade over the arrogant figure from the past who had a god complex. The truth comes out. Laevatain is a reconvener of Surtr. She admits that knowing the name doesn't fix the emptiness. She feels like she is wearing a costume of a legend. It is a deep conversation about how knowing your history doesn't automatically give you a personality or a purpose. Endman makes a promise to help her find the memories so she can decide for herself. Laevatain agrees, solidifying their alliance. They are locked in for the long haul, ready to explore the rest of the memory map together. It is a pact to find the truth, no matter how messy it gets. Back in reality, Endman collects witness accounts to pinpoint the entry point. Delivery drivers and workers tell stories of a red-haired hero saving them. It confirms that Laevatain has been a hero all along, even if she doesn't remember it. The community hype helps narrow down where she is hiding in the code. The team at base sets up a protocol singularity injection to send Endman back in. It is a risky tech maneuver, but everyone is on board to save Laevatain. Endman is ready to dive back into the glitchy void, proving they are a real one for going to such lengths for a friend. Inside the memory, they face enemies from Talos 2. Laevatain is confused by the intense emotions she feels that don't seem to belong to her. The shadow returns to taunt her, claiming her feelings are fake. It is a psychological attack, trying to invalidate her entire existence as just a bad copy. The shadow tells Laevatain she is an empty shell and dares her to go to Surtr's home to see the truth. It is trying to break her by forcing a confrontation with a past that won't recognize her. The villain is basically telling her to go find out she is irrelevant, which is incredibly toxic. Laevatain rushes towards the home memory, ignoring the danger. She is desperate for validation. The world is falling apart around them, but she pushes on. Endman follows, trying to keep her safe as the simulation starts to crash. It is the climax of the emotional journey, with everything on the line. Laevatain arrives at the home and feels absolutely nothing. It is a heartbreaking moment where the big revelation turns out to be a dud. She realizes that staring at old ruins doesn't tell her who she is. The past is a dead end, and she is left standing in the dust. Endman steps in with the ultimate validation, telling Laevatain she is real because her actions are real. Endman bears witness to her existence, grounding her in the present. It is the moment she stops looking for a ghost and starts accepting herself as a living, breathing person with her own agency. Laevatain finally takes the sword and claims it for herself, silencing the old memories. She declares she is the boss now, not the ancient warrior. It is a power move where she reclaims her agency, deciding to use the weapon to carve her own path rather than following a dusty old script. A montage of Surtr's real memories reveals she was just a chill girl who loved ice cream and freedom. It completely subverts the tragic warrior trope. Laevatain realizes the legend she was chasing was actually just someone trying to vibe, which makes the whole identity crisis feel a bit silly in a good way. The memories show that Surtr found home in the people at Rhodes Island, not a place. This helps Laevatain understand that home is a feeling of belonging. She realizes she doesn't need to find a physical location. She just needs a squad that accepts her for who she is right now. Endman invites Laevatain to join Endfield, offering a new home. She accepts, deciding to leave the past behind. She is ready to start a new game, save with Endman. It is the perfect resolution, replacing the lost past with a promising future where she can define her own story. As they try to leave, the memory maze tries to trap them one last time. Laevatain decides to burn it all down. She unleashes her fire to destroy the old data, literally incinerating her trauma. It is a spectacular finale, clearing the way for her new life with zero baggage. They wake up in the real world, and Laevatain is ready to roll. She demands adventure and snacks, fully embracing her new identity. She is done with the angst and ready to be the chaotic, fun operator she was meant to be. The story ends on a high note of new beginnings. Gaming lore is long and confusing, but I break it down every week. Subscribe so you never miss a plot twist or hidden detail. Thanks for watching.